Well, the director is essentially the leader of the project. It's up to them to make sure everything goes to plan. Like the first AD are the people who actually interact with the actual crew, but the director is the person whose name is going against it. So you need to make sure that everyone's job is fitting in with each other and all the elements are coming together. Because everything needs a leader, and if you don't have a leader, then everything's just going to fall apart. I mean, the director is certainly not the final arbiter when it comes to what the film is going to be like. A film is a team-making process. It's certainly not the vision of one auteur, but it's they are the one who is leading the creative side of the process. The producer's leading the financial side of the process. The director's leading the creative side. Confidence, and the willingness to sometimes, if the situation calls for it, be a bit of a wanker. The arsehole director image is one that's sort of people rally against, but to be honest, sometimes if people aren't doing what you say on set, you sometimes have to have a bit of an iron fist about it. And if you don't have the confidence to do that, if you can't interact with people in that way, then maybe the job isn't really for you. I mean, obviously creatively you need to be able to look at all the elements of what makes a film and make them good. It's not just how the film looks. That's sort of a misconception in that the director makes the film look how it looks. The director is in charge of literally everything. So you got to understand how the performances go together, the music, the editing, the cinematography, everything needs to fit together and make a film, because if one element is off, it can ruin the entire thing. Mostly they interact with the producer, the actors, and the assistants. They don't interact with the entire set, normally at least. It depends on the size of the set, of course. All crews are different. If there's a set of thousands, then the director is not going to be interacting with all of them. They don't distribute the call sheets, all the storyboards, or anything like that. All of that stuff is actually, interacting is the first AD's job. Basically, they're the messenger boy when it comes to telling them what the director actually wants them to do. The director mostly is in charge of working with the cinematographer to decide how the film looks, and also working with the actors to get the performance that's necessary. Because the actors obviously is what you're mainly seeing in the film, so the director is in charge of properly directing the actors. Oh Christ. It's like for anything in the film industry, it's who you know. Contacts is basically what the entire industry is based on. If you've got a job and you're going up against someone that the producer knows or has been recommended to them, you won't get that job. So often the path that many people take, and a path that's definitely works, is getting a lower paying job in somewhere where films are made, like a runner, or even a receptionist, because you have contact with them. They don't know who you are, obviously, but at the same time, many people do apprenticeships and internships that have jobs at the end of them after a year, and at that point, that's when your name sort of gets solidified in their head. You can, of course, go the indie route and not bother with the industry as a whole. There are many ways to fund films, like these days, especially through Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and even you could work it through things like Patreon. But there's also things like the BFI lottery fund, which sort of gives money to independent filmmakers. The independent route is a lot more risky because there's so many things that can go wrong. Funding is really hard to secure. Like things like Kickstarter, if you don't get all the money, you don't get any of it. So, it's all a big gamble. The entire industry is a gamble. So, there are many ways of getting into the thing. Whether to be a director, I mean, the director is like, it's like if you get a job at the White House and wanting to be the president's personal bodyguard. It's basically the highest job there is, so you got to work a lot to get there.